Hello, it's Candice here and welcome to my channel. Today I thought we could paint this sort of loose, slightly semi-abstract landscape. It's quite a small piece. My paper is 5 by 7 in inches and it's cold press Arches paper, £140 and 100% cotton. So we're going to use a reference photo. And I've picked this sort of almost like a marshy scene, but I really like the colours in it. I liked how it all sort of blended nicely, and it wasn't too fussy. There wasn't so much detail in there that we needed to capture. So the foreground will be quite abstract. We don't really need to paint all the details. So my paper is taped down. It's not at an angle because I don't feel that we really need the paint to flow very much for this painting. All I've done is taped it down and then drawn a very rough horizon line so we can make sure we keep it nice and straight. If you can hear birds in the background, I'm in my conservatory today, so it's a little bit noisy, but it's so hot I've got to have the doors open. So welcome to the UK summer, where you're either boiling or freezing. So we've got a very loose sketch, nothing fussy, just a few lines so I can see where I need to paint the background trees, and then horizon lines so we keep it nice and straight. I'm just going to be using 5 colours today, keeping it nice and simple. So for the sky we'll use cerulean blue because it's a nice light blue tone, and then alizarin crimson underneath, giving it a little bit of a warm sunset feel. For the land we're going to use 3 colours, but we're going to mix them up, so we're using lots of different variations in tones and colours, and they're burnt sienna, raw umber and indigo. The burnt sienna will be used quite a bit on the right hand side of the painting, just so that we look like we're capturing the light a bit more on that side, so it looks a bit more like the reference photo. But as we go through the painting and down through the foreground, we'll mix up those colours so that they are sort of blended and quite, in harmony with each other. So I'm wetting my paper, making sure that I keep the foreground, so the land, dry. So we're just going to paint the sky and using a large flat brush. Any flat brush will do. We're going to use a mixture of brushes today, but mainly quills, mops, fine detail and a large flat brush. So now the sky's all wet, I'm going to add some cerulean blue, keeping it darker at the top of the painting. I'm using my squirrel quill brush, and then just feathering it down, and we're going to make a little bit of a sort of a graduated wash, so a bit of clean water underneath. Now I'm adding some alizarin crimson, which looks quite dark on my video, but it is quite a bit lighter in the painting, but it will dry lighter. Sweeping it across the sky from the right hand side, and then also sweeping it a little bit up into the blue, pulling the paint away so it gives a little bit of interest through some lighter sections. And then I've got a little bit of grey left on my palette, so I've used this in a very, very light mixture to pull down towards the horizon. Back in with a little bit of alizarin crimson, using more of the point of the brush to give the suggestion of some little feathered clouds, and then also pulling that through the blue and further up the painting for the sky as well. Then I've just taken some tissue, some paper towel, and I've wrapped it around the top of a little cap only quite a small one, so a penny would probably be too big, so just like something about 1/2 centimetre that's circular. And I've used that to pull out the paint by pressing it in carefully to the sky. This just lifts up the paint from the sky and leaves a nice white circle. Then some burnt sienna on the right hand side, and we're going to start putting in those trees I'm using a calligraphy brush because I like the points, and I think the bristles give a nice bit of texture, but use whichever brush you feel comfortable that has quite a nice point to it. I've mixed on my palette a few other colours, so the burnt sienna, raw umber and a little bit of indigo, and I'm just using those in different variations to paint in those trees, keeping it warmer on the right hand side and a little bit more indigo to make it slightly darker at the bottom of the trees. Just vary the mixture as you go along. While it's wet, add in little dabs of paint that you've mixed from your other colours, so a little bit more raw umber, a little bit more burnt sienna, and just vary it as you go along the tree line. I've kept it quite light on the left hand side. I want it to look as though it's receding into the background, that the left side of the painting is a little bit further away. So just a very sort of pale grey, which can be mixed from the burnt sienna and the indigo, but very light and quite watery, and just use that on the left hand side for those very distant trees. It should give the impression that they look a little bit further away, because we have to try and trick our eye to almost think that there's a lot of distance. Then I'm using my quill brush again, and I'm putting some burnt sienna underneath the tree line on the right hand side, right at the back. Sweeping it across, using both the tip of the brush, and then also we'll use the side of the brush, because this will give you a little bit of dry brush as it swipes across the texture of the paper. And a little bit darker, a little bit more raw umber, and again just keeping it sweeping your brush from left to right, and varying which part of the brush that you use, and then also varying the mixture as well, so a bit lighter or a bit warmer, a bit darker, and it gives, well, hopefully it gives a bit of a abstract feel, so you're not painting in every little detail of the landscape. So still getting a bit darker, and carrying on with a little bit more dry brush, and then some zigzag motions from side to side. It takes a little bit of practice, but it does give a nice effect. I think it gives a nice effect, and it also means that you don't have to spend quite so long religiously following the image that you're using. You can just give the suggestion of the different tones in the landscape. So finishing off with a bit of indigo, just to darken it up right in the foreground of the picture, the painting, and swiping it from left to right, making sure it's quite smooth, but we've also left some white sections of the paper to give that impression of texture. Then taking my fine detail brush, on the left hand side, right at the back in the distance, is just a few sort of little hills. It looked almost like snow, and I've used a fairly dark greeny mixture, so using the burnt sienna and the indigo, and then using my fine detail brush, I've just given the suggestion of some hills in the background. Just checking that the paper's dry. It doesn't need to be completely bone dry. It can be very slightly damp, but just enough to be able to put a few added little touches of detail in the foreground. I'm using a number 1 round. It's got a nice point to it, and it's still quite springy, so you can do some suggestions of grasses or reeds. These can be dotted around the foreground. I liked in the middle, it looked like there was almost a pond or a body of water, so I did a few reeds around that. But depending on how your painting has turned out, because it is going to be different to my painting, you can add little touches of detail around where you think they look best. So I've tried to accentuate the indigo, which was in the foreground in the centre of the painting, and added a few little indigo textures to that. And then again at the back, I used burnt sienna because that was the colour of the paint in that section, and then just accentuated that area with a little few dabs of paint, a few little suggestions of grasses. And then underneath the trees at the back, I've just darkened them up at the base, using my finger to smooth out the paint so it doesn't look like one hard line. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but I thought the sun looked a little bit white in contrast to the rest of the painting. So I've taken a little bit of alizarin crimson, very, very diluted, so it's almost like very tinted water. And I'm just painting in that sun so that it doesn't stand out quite so much. Then I've taken a little bit of paper towel, a little tissue. Well, I've wet it first to make it a little bit more damp. So then I can take a tissue and press it on that section to just pull out a tiny bit of the paint I've just added. I think it makes it look a little less glaring, a big white spot in the sky, but it's completely up to you. You might think that yours looks nice and realistic and you don't need to fiddle with it, and that's absolutely fine. So just to finish off the very front of the painting, I think it needed darkening up. It did look a little bit light compared to the trees at the back, so I just used a bit of raw umber mixed with some indigo, and then dry brushed a very dry mixture across the front and the foreground. And then these are just a few touches that I thought my painting needed, so you don't need to do these, but I used a touch of cerulean, nice and light, and and just use my calligraphy brush to smooth it across the water in the centre, and then a little bit further back, and that's it. I tried my hardest not to fiddle, because I think it stops it from being quite a loose painting, but I've taken the tape off, had a look at it, and I think it was finished. Thank you ever so much for painting that with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you picked up some little tips or techniques which you might find useful in your own paintings. And if you would like to see any more paintings like this, or even recommend any that you would like me to paint, please pop it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.